Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We sit at some momentous times in this country, and there's a lot to unpack. And right now I have what is truly a gift to the University Amy Zion Church
Mhm.
family, Reverend Dr. Zandra L. Jordan. Dr. Jordan came to the Bay Area pursuing work ambitions. She leads one of the distinguished writing centers at Stanford as the director there. So she's doing some amazing work on campus. She grew up in a Baptist background, which we have forgiven her for. And she came to university and she preached a few times, and then she said, "You know what? I love the ministry here, so I want to stick around for a little bit." So Reverend Jordan has been with part of the ministerial team for 2 years now, and she's been a true blessing to our team. I'm so grateful that she is with us. Dr. Jordan, I think we can't start with any other way but asking the question as somebody. Well, ask you two questions. First, you're in Atlanta. You're a Spelman grad.
Mhm.
We watch. You're familiar with the churches and the pastors, even the pastor Ebenezer. Tell me what it's like to be a Georgian, to see a black man and a Jewish man become the senators of that state, as somebody that's a lifelong Georgian.
Well, it's really just remarkable. I one of the reasons why I'm in Georgia, in Atlanta right now, is because I wanted to be sure that I was able to cast my vote in both the presidential election and in these consequential Senate runoff races.
Mhm.
And so I arrived ahead of the surge so that I could take care of that very important business. And we all need to exercise our civic duty to ensure that we can see in reality the kind of world that we imagine, that we know that God wants us to be able to live in. So I started off the day with such elation because
Mhm.
I knew the outcome of those races.
Mhm.
I heard from a few of my colleagues at Stanford who know that I'm in Georgia right now, and they were saying, we consider this win. We know that things have gone this way because of your presence in the state.
Yeah.
Course, because of my Spelman sister, Stacey Abrams, just historic achievements in all of her amazing grassroots work, really getting out the vote and mobilizing people to vote. So, we chuckled about, my presence in the state having an impact, but the truth is that, even one voice matters. And
Mhm.
so I was really excited about that outcome. And then, of course, we see the mayhem that ensued at the nation's capital. And while it's not surprising in the sense that we have witnessed the divisive rhetoric of the current president, we always knew from the beginning of his questionable character. And so we're not surprised by it. It's still disheartening and shocking because we know that that's not the kind of country we are. That's not what we expect to see taking place. And we're also aware of how Black and Brown people are treated. And so one of the most difficult realities in witnessing what happened is that we know
Mhm.
if the rioters
Mhm.
had been Black and brown, that there would have been so much bloodshed. It would have been shut down much earlier. Many people would be in prison already. Just the outcome would be very different, and we just can't deny that. So it's disheartening. It's infuriating to see this injustice take place. That people can uh, really carry out an insurrection with impunity.
Mhm.
And uh, we laugh to keep from crying. We know that this is injustice, and we believe that God is a God of justice, and so that's what we want to see. And it's important that the people of Christ are a part of that work. We are God's hands here on the earth, and we've got to be a part of helping to bring about justice in this world.
Yeah, I think we're going to have a serious discussion as we unpack this about the complicit nature of the mainline churches
Yeah.
in this administration, and excusing bad behavior for earthly gains lead to demonic situations.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I feel like at this moment, this time, this place, um, it's going to be imperative not just for us to pray for peace, not just for us to pray for hope. No, we need justice.
Mm-hmm.
We need to start having an ethical framework that is applied evenly across ethnicities, races, and locations. And we need to start holding people accountable, particularly news organizations and
Mm-hmm.
elected officials that choose to spew untruths
Mm-hmm.
and delude and lead people into bad situations. Because the
Yeah.
people who got led there, they they didn't have no
Absolutely.
home training, as we put it. They didn't have no home training, but somebody had to get them to the door to do the destruction. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the whole thing. Now, I just want to, can you just give us a little bit of your journey from Atlanta to in the church in Atlanta to AME Zion Methodist Church? I know it was a significant challenge and thought, a significant shift. That we're grateful to God and we feel blessed that you made that shift. But tell us a little bit about that journey and why you decided to hang out with us at university, and what's been your experience, especially as a woman in ministry.
Well, thanks first. Just thanks for saying that, Pastor. I'm grateful to be at University AME Zion. One of my biggest questions as I followed God West was, what does this mean for ministry?
Mm,
Because I was very much a part of the life of my church in Atlanta, and I knew what ministry looked like. I had the support of the pastor, and I was just uncertain what the Lord was going to do. And
mhm.
I hadn't even yet arrived in California, and I had engagements. And I was like, oh, well, okay, Lord,
Mhm,
I need not question you have a plan for this.
mhm,
And I knew that I wanted to be a part of a church where I could really participate and be a part of the life of that church. So
mhm,
it was important for me to join with a fellowship of believers who are loving people, committed to the word, committed to impact in the community, and close enough for me to have the kind of engagement that I wanted. And
mhm,
so university was there. I heard about it before I arrived. I knew that I would visit.
mhm,
And unbeknownst to me, word had been sent ahead also concerning me. And so I just saw the Lord putting something together. So it's been a real joy and privilege to be a part of this fellowship. And I have felt, fully supported. And that too is immensely important as a woman in ministry,
mhm,
to know that my call is recognized and celebrated. And as the word says, your gifts will make room for you, and the Lord continues to do that. So I count it a blessing. University AME Zion Church is a wonderful fellowship. And yes, I am Baptist, born and bred, and licensed and ordained. And
mhm,
yet, fundamentally, what I look for is a people of God who love the Lord and
mhm,
are Bible believing. And that's
mhm,
what I found at university. And so that's core for me, above polity. It has its place and importance.
mhm,
But fundamentally, we are Christians. And
mhm.
denominationalism shouldn't stand in the way of our ability to fellowship one with another and join together in doing the kingdom work.
That's great. One of the things you talked about word being sent ahead. One of your sorors from that fine organization of Delta Sigma Theta
Yes.
Sorority Incorporated, which is my good friend, sister to me, Reverend Dominique Robinson, sent a word ahead and said you were coming, and she was so enthusiastic about you coming.
Hmm.
Tell us a little bit about your activity with the Deltas in the Bay Area, because I think that's such a significant part of your story, and the work you're doing there is just simply amazing.
Oh, well, thank you so much for lifting up that name. I'm a part of the San Francisco Peninsula alumni chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. I serve as the second vice president. And,
Mhm.
we are a sorority committed to public service. We believe in serving our community and making an impact in the world, educationally, politically, economically, in terms of health and physical awareness and political engagement. It spans the gamut. And so we're constantly looking for ways that we can serve. And so we try to partner with our local community, churches, and other organizations to be a part of the solution rather than the problem. So when we recognize a need, we want to see how we can help. One of the aspects where I'm most active is it's called risk management. It's really related to our youth initiatives. And so we provide educational and leadership opportunities for young women. And a part of that is providing, pairing young women with our organization so that they can be mentored and encouraged to become their very best selves and be successful in society. And so that's a part of the work we do, as well as a lot of other volunteerism.
So, I want to say thank you because one of the big initiatives that we did in the holiday season was we went and got gifts for 50 families of foster children this year, and this organization partnered with us,
Yes.
and we were able to add an additional $300 of gift cards, which at $25 gift card touches a lot of different families and makes Christmas happen in spaces that it wouldn't have happened because of shortfall. So we're grateful for that. The reason I asked about Delta was because at university you do several different initiatives. The
Mhm.
first one is you've been over our women's ministry. I want to talk a little bit about that, and then you've done an amazing job leading our higher calling devotional. So I'd like to hear about both of those things really quickly, and tell us a little bit about what that experience has been and what's coming up next.
Sure, great. So, Thrive Women's Ministry, we're really taking a holistic approach to exploring what it means to be women of Christ who are living victoriously in a world that is, downfalling. I mean, we have to learn how to really embody the hope and the joy that is ours in Christ, despite the many challenges that we face on a daily basis. And so that's a part of what we strive to do
Mhm.
by covenanting together as we stand on the word of God and support one another in accomplishing our goals. And so we have had a wonderful time with our fellowships in the past, and we're looking forward to expanding that this year. And really, as we continue in our work virtually or digitally. So we're unable to gather in person right now, but that doesn't stop the ministry and that doesn't stop the heart of what we do.
Mhm.
And so one of the first things we're going to do is have a digital vision boarding uh,
Mhm.
party. And so I'm really looking forward to that.
Mhm.
We last year, this time we had one in person. And so we're just going to take it online. It's still important. Some might wonder, well, why do vision boarding? Last year, we were expecting totally different things than what happened in 2020. Well, it's so important still that we cast that vision, that we write it, that we are discerning what God is saying to us in this new season, and
Mhm.
then that we stand on that. So
Mhm.
wherever there is God, there continues to be hope. So we don't ever want to stop reimagining the world in which we live and fighting for that reality.
Mhm.
It's within our grasp. And so we've got vision boarding coming up. We're going to engage in a book study together. I'm excited about it. And that book it's by Trillia Newble. It's called Enjoy,
Mhm.
Finding the Freedom to Delight Daily in God's Good Gifts.
Mhm.
Again, we've been in a fairly prolonged season where we could just slide into melancholy, depression, feelings of hopelessness. We know some have been quite lonely and shut in by themselves. There are a lot of there's a lot of negativity, a lot of dispositions that we need to fight against. And so, one of the things that we can do is remember this important fruit of the Spirit, which is joy, that is ours for the taking as we continue to delight ourselves in the Lord. And so, that's a book that I believe is going to help us do that. So, I'm excited about that book study. And we're also planning a workshop with a board certified Christian counselor on wellness and environmental stewardship, which is in alignment with the Bay City's district's focus. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
really looking forward to that for the women's ministry.
Mm-hmm.
And then you also asked about the midweek devotional, Higher Calling.
Mm-hmm.
That's just been a joy. You know, members call in on Wednesday morning. We have 15 minutes that we spend together praying and reflecting upon a devotional message. And then there's the option for those who are able to do so to stay on the line for another 15 minutes, and we have open dialogue and conversation. And that's a time where people can ask questions and they can reflect upon what they've heard in the devotional. We ended the year last year using Sarah Young's Jesus Calling,
Mm-hmm.
and we're going to continue with a devotional book by Sarah Young, but this one is called Jesus Always. And I chose
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Always because it takes also this focus on joy. I think it's so important, regardless of what we're going through, that we don't allow the circumstances to rob us of our joy.
Mm. Well, I'm so grateful for that message. Last question for tonight. Tell us a little bit. You do this great work at university, but beyond that, you're doing some impactful work on Stanford's campus. Can you tell us a little bit about your Thursday night New Believers study and some of the stuff you're doing with the chapel, with the cathedral, whatever they call it?
Okay, great. So, yes, I also lead an online Bible study. It's on Thursday evenings.
Hmm.
Um, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. And it's called Reason to Believe. I was led to start that Bible study when a Stanford student and then in short order, a faculty member asked me if I was doing any online ministry. And, I recognized the hand of God in that and decided to step out. This was like really at the beginning of the pandemic. And so we started with a series on justice fatigue. And that group has been going strong for since that time, really, since early April. And so we're continuing. Actually, our first Bible study for the new year will be tomorrow evening. And we're continuing in a study of the fruit of the Spirit. We left off in that study last year. And so we'll be resuming that. And everyone is welcome. So I hope that others would join us, and feel free to reach out to me for information on how to join in with that study. And also at Stanford, I am working in conjunction with the Office of Religious and Spiritual Life, serving on their Chaplains Council this year. So I'm looking forward to doing that great work in discerning what the campus needs in terms of spiritual development and revival, and how I can be a part of that work, primarily in my outreach to students, in my engagement with students. So trying to be a voice for students of color in particular, but students more generally who are seeking purpose and significance in their lives. One of the things that I recognize at the university is that we have a lot of brilliant young people who recognize a desire for something more, but don't necessarily know how to access it. They don't necessarily know what it is, but they feel a little something is missing.
Hmm.
And we know what it is.
We
And
know
we
it
want to
is.
help, right, we know what it is.
You know.
We want to help them get to know the Most High God, who fills our lives with meaning and purpose.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you so much for being with us this evening. I really, really feel blessed to have you at university. And we're so excited to see what's going to launch with the women's ministry as we continue the higher calling devotional and all the other things. that you're working on with the team that is going to put the digital campus together. Because we
Mhm.
haven't even talked about that, but that's a whole different conversation. But I am so, 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 so excited about what God's about to do. So thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pastor.
Everybody, thank you for joining us. As you can see, University is a vibrant church, vibrant ministry with some really gifted people. And we're so grateful you took time to join us tonight. Thank you.